Greetings, Poké fans! Michael here. Quick little bit of self-promo before I get into the video. Last week I posted the Pokemon Talk Christmas Musical Special. It was a video I spent a lot of time on that I'm really happy with how it turned out, and pretty much all the people watching it have loved it too. So if you didn't see it, be sure to click in the cards up there and watch Bulbasaur and Squirtle and lots of other past Pokemon Talk guests sing lots of fun Pokemon parody Christmas songs. As someone who is relatively well known in the Pokemon community, I get asked a lot of questions about Pokemon, such as predictions for the future games, what the best generation is, who won the Nintendo Switch, when's the next Pokemon Talk coming out, who won the Nintendo Switch, what are my favorite Pokemon from each region, who won the Nintendo Switch. It wasn't you, it was Hancy. Stop asking me! I get a lot of these questions on my YouTube gaming live streams, which, by the way, if you haven't had a chance to check out yet, you definitely should sometime. I do a lot of fun shiny hunting, and a lot of fun stuff regularly happens.
Alright, last one. Let's see what we get. If this is a shiny Lombre, I'm gonna be stunned. Alright. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh!
Now, I'm definitely flattered and honored that you guys care so much about my opinions on Pokemon, but you gotta understand, getting asked the same questions over and over again can get a bit, well, not ideal. So I figured I would make a video that I could send people to that would be able to answer not all possible questions, since that would be impossible, but many of them, by telling you guys my top Pokemon of each category. By the way, if you are here because I just sent you here from a YouTube gaming live stream, thank you. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and also go back to the stream after you finish this video. Now, when I say category, what I mean is a classification of Pokemon that you've probably heard of before. For example, legendary Pokemon, starter Pokemon, fossil Pokemon, shiny Pokemon, and so on and so forth. Now, it would be impossible for me to do every single category because there's infinite possible categories. However, I'm going to be doing as many as I can think of that are not weirdly obscure. For example, I'm not going to be telling you my favorite Generation 3 Pokemon owned by both a former gym leader and a former Cypher admin that has no less than 4 limbs and also has no teeth in its mouth. Okay, it's Ludicolo. So don't forget to leave a like on the video, comment down below some of your predictions of what you think's going to be here, and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, here are the top Pokemon of every category. We'll start things off pretty general, and I'll just tell you my favorite Pokemon of all time, which is Sceptile. It was my first ever Pokemon I ever owned in any video game, named Blade, which many of you already know, and it's a cool lizard. I love lizard, and it's so freaking awesome. Although I must admit, lately Vikavolt has been giving Sceptile a pretty legitimate run for its money due to several recent events in my playthroughs. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you haven't watched episode 40 of my Ultra Sun Let's Play, you should do so. Next up, my least favorite Pokemon, which is not a top Pokemon. I guess it could be the top worst Pokemon, but I get asked this regularly too. But anyways, my least favorite Pokemon is Miltank. It is a gross, weird-looking cow with giant nipples flopping around that just look weird. Plus, it has pissed me off on more occasions than any other Pokemon. I hate Miltank, although I would totally eat it. My favorite starter Pokemon is Sceptile, which you probably figured out. My favorite pseudo-legendary is Metagross. It is an awesome, badass-looking Pokemon with the X on its face and the big forearms. It has a really awesome shiny, and I have fond memories of using my Metagross Optimus to help me defeat the Pokemon World Tournament back in Black 2. Although I will say Garchomp is a pretty close second. My favorite legendary Pokemon is Rayquaza. It is a massive serpentine sky dragon, which is awesome. It just looks so cool. It's so powerful, especially with Mega Rayquaza, and I used one a lot in my Ruby to help me complete the Pokédex and level up Pokemon in the league, and it was so fun. It was actually the second Pokemon I ever got to level 100, just behind my original Sceptile Blade. My favorite mythical Pokemon, well, okay, actually, before I get into this, I just want to say I consider mythical to be a subset of legendary, not a completely different category. I know there's a lot of debate around that, but if you disagree with me on this, you're wrong. But regardless, my favorite mythical Pokemon is Marshadow. It is so adorable. I think it has a really cool design, a really cool typing with ghost fighting. It's extremely powerful, and I think it's really awesome. Although I will say I was not a huge fan of how it was portrayed in the I Choose You movie. This kind of like, it was kind of the bad guy, seemingly unnecessarily. I don't know, I wasn't a fan of it in the I Choose You movie, but outside of that, it's wonderful. My favorite Ultra Beast is Poipole because it is the only one that I don't think looks weird and ugly. I get that Ultra Beasts are supposed to look weird and otherworldly, but that doesn't make it so that I will like them. Although I will say Nagnatal, Poipole's evolution, that looks pretty awesome too. But I gotta give Poipole the edge because it's just so adorable. My favorite shiny Pokemon is a three-way tie between shiny Minior, shiny Gigalith, and shiny Gliscor. Minior is a fantastic shiny. It's got the combination of all the different possible colors of Minior all into one color speckled thing. It just looks awesome and it's so cute. Gigalith is fantastic because I love Gigalith and just bright neon colors. It looks excellent. And shiny Gliscor because number one, it's Gliscor, therefore it's awesome. And also blue and yellow are pretty much my channel colors, so it would fit really nicely with that. If I was picking my channel mascot today, I'd probably pick shiny Gliscor. Since well, honestly, I don't really even have a channel mascot nowadays. I guess you could say Trico, but not really. It's only in a couple art of me. But if I was picking one now, probably pick shiny Gliscor. My favorite Pokemon of each type is something I get asked somewhat regularly, and I have actually already made a video on this a little bit over a year ago, which you can head to by clicking or tapping in the upper right-hand corner, and so I'm not going to be answering that because I have already covered it in a different video. And it's been over a year, but my taste, the only thing that's changed in that list was changing Gengar to Marshadow for my favorite ghost type. But other than that, the list is still accurate. My favorite Gen 1 Kanto Pokemon is Squirtle. I think it's adorable, and I have a lot of sentimental attachment to it, both because it was my first Kanto starter that I ever picked back in Leaf Green, but also because Pokemon Talk I love Squirtle. He's such a fun character to portray and write, and I love Squirtle as a big result of Pokemon Talk as well. Also, I have actually made a video of my top 10 favorite Kanto Pokemon, which you can watch if you would like by click or tapping in the upper right hand corner. But just a heads up, I don't plan on making top 10s for the other regions, just because I don't really want to. So don't expect top 10 Johto Pokemon anytime soon. Speaking of that, my favorite Johto Pokemon is Crobat. It is such an awesome looking Pokemon with the 4 wings and the angry face like this, and it's also a massive improvement on Zubat and Golbat because, let's be honest, those suck. My favorite Hoenn Pokemon is obviously Sceptile, but since I already talked about it a little bit, my second favorite Hoenn Pokemon is Breloom. It is such a cool mushroom kangaroo creature that's simultaneously cute, but also like really fearsome with the stretchy arms that'll just punch you in the face, and I've used it before in Emerald. It's an awesome Pokemon. My favorite Sinnoh Pokemon is Gliscor. It is so cool looking. It's like the creature of the night, Gliscor, and it's so awesome. Its shiny is fantastic, as I said, and also it was a lot of fun to use it in my Platinum Nuzlocke. May he rest in peace. My favorite Unova Pokemon is Zebstrika. Zebras are my favorite animal, and electric is my favorite type. So combine the two together, and you've got a Pokemon that is extremely cool. My favorite Kalos Pokemon is Talonflame. It is an awesome flame falcon that I kicked a lot of butt with in the Battle Mason and VGC, and it's also a really useful Pokemon, especially back in Gen 6, for hatching eggs with flame body and also flying around the region at any time. And my favorite Alola Pokemon, as I mentioned earlier, is Vikavolt. It is such a cool looking bug, hits like an absolute train on the special side, and has saved my butt on more than one occasion in playthroughs. Havoc from my Sun playthrough and Ion from my Ultra Sun playthrough will be Pokemon I will always remember fondly. My favorite fossil Pokemon is Archeops. It is a raptor-looking flying creature that hits like a truck as long as its health doesn't get too low, and it's so cool. Plus, I have very fond memories of using one in my first ever playthrough of Unova in my original white version, so it's just an awesome Pokemon. Although I will say its 3D model looks extremely derpy, and I definitely prefer Archeops in 2D. My favorite shiny legendary Pokemon, which I know this sounds very specific, but I promise I've actually been asked this a lot. But anyways, it is shiny Cobalion. I used a shiny Cobalion in my first ever draft league and last ever draft league called Inigo. After Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. And it just looks so cool. I love the dark blue and the lime green shoulder spikes and horns. It looks really awesome. Definitely want to shiny hunt one at some point. Also, several people have said they think it barely changes, and I just want to say, if you think that, you're wrong. That's complete nonsense. It looks very noticeably different. A shiny that doesn't look any different is Regice. My favorite regional bird is Talonflame for the reasons I mentioned earlier, but a close second is Staraptor. My favorite early game normal type, which, while I'm not a massive fan of any of them, I'd have to give it to Linoon. I do have a soft spot for Hoenn since it was my first game I ever owned, and it's a pretty useful HM slave and apparently can be surprisingly devastating and competitive at times. My favorite evolution is Umbreon, followed closely by Jolteon and then by Leafeon. Fun fact, the reason the original 3 Eeveelution brothers in Pokemon Talk are those 3 specifically is because back in my sophomore year of college, my 3 roommates were like, hey, what are your 3 favorite Eeveelutions? And I said Umbreon, Jolteon, and Leafeon, and so they got me those 3 plushies as a birthday present, and then I put them in Pokemon Talk. Also, my favorite shiny Eeveelution, it's still Umbreon. How can you compete with that? My favorite baby Pokemon, which, quick aside, I've never been a huge fan of baby Pokemon. I always preferred Pokemon to get new evolutions rather than new pre-evolutions, but regardless of that, my favorite baby Pokemon is Mantike. It is just this cute little Ray who's got a smiley face on his back, and he's just like, I'm a Mantike, and he's adorable. On the flip side of that, my favorite new evolution of an older gen Pokemon is definitely Gliscor, followed closely by Crobat, and then followed closely by Gallade. But I do want to say a lot of new evolutions of old Pokemon, especially the 4th gen ones, are excellent. Electivire, Yanmega, Magmortar, Weavile, I'm a big fan of a lot of them. My favorite legendary trio is definitely the legendary beasts, or legendary dogs, legendary cats, whatever you think they are. They are all really solid, really cool Pokemon with an awesome backstory. Although I will say, the Swords of Justice, they're a close second. My favorite Mega Evolution is a toss-up between Mega Sceptile and Mega Charizard X. They are both really cool looking badass dragons, and I have sentimental attachment to both of them for various reasons, so it's hard for me to pick one. My favorite Alola form is Alolan Ninetales. It is a fantastically designed, beautiful Pokemon with cool typing, literally, and I've really enjoyed using one in my Ultra Sun playthrough. My favorite non-evolving Pokemon, so a Pokemon that doesn't have any pre-evolutions or evolutions, is Castform. I know a lot of people think it looks like a disembodied head with boobs or a butt or whatever, but I disagree. I think it is a little water molecule that is the cutest Pokemon out there. I love it. It's so cute, and I really want one in real life, and also wish it didn't have horrible stats. My favorite trade evolution Pokemon is Gigalith. It is this stone monster with bright red spikes on it that looks so fierce and awesome, and its shiny, as I mentioned before, is incredible. My favorite stone evolution Pokemon is definitely Alolan Ninetales for the reasons I mentioned just prior. If I had to pick a second place, kind of a toss-up between Gallade and Ludicolo. My favorite genderless Pokemon, excluding legendary Pokemon since almost all legendaries are genderless, would definitely have to be Metagross for the same reasons that I mentioned when I was talking about my favorite pseudo-legendary. My favorite Pikachu clone, which I don't really like any of them. I think it's annoying that they exist, but if I had to pick one, I'd actually pick 2 and say Plusle and Minun simply due to Ruby Sapphire nostalgia. And finally, my favorite shiny Pokemon that I personally have found, this is a question that I have been asked before, is definitely my shiny Gligar.
Your name is Miguel? What if you've been lying to me, Mikey, this entire time?
Miguel is the Spanish, like,
Yes!
Holy crap!
Yes!
Way! No way!
have so much testosterone right now.
It was a very long hunt, my longest successful hunt that I have ever had, and that hunt also included a fail of a shiny Weepinbell, so that really sucked, and it was very rewarding when I finally got it, and I definitely am very fond of it. Although I definitely also need to evolve it. So there we have it. Those are my top favorite Pokemon from every category. Like I said, not every category, but hopefully I covered enough bases in order to answer a lot of the questions many of you may have had. What did you think of this video? Which of my picks do you agree with? What are some of your favorite Pokemon of some of the categories that I talked about? Let me know in the comments below! And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, it helps me out a lot. And if you have not already subscribed, you definitely should do so. I make a bunch of fun Pokemon content every day that I am sure you will enjoy. And don't forget, if you haven't already, check out the Pokemon Talk Christmas musical special that is sure to get you in the holiday spirit. Alright, that's all I have for now. So till next time, Poké fans. Gotta catch them all!